Many Magic the Gathering players ask the question, is it worth it to buy a deck builder's toolkit? Because so many Magic the Gathering players recommend them as a starting point. But just how perfect a product are these for prospective new players? Do they hold the tools to build your first Magic the Gathering deck? Will that deck be a casual deck, or a deck that can eventually go down to Friday Night Magic? And what about for established players? Is there any value here for someone who already plays Magic the Gathering to pick up a toolkit and add its contents to their collection? Let's find out. Please note, this video will be examining the current contents of the Ixalan Deck Builder's Toolkit. However, since toolkits remain more or less identical from set to set, this video can be treated as current or up to date, even for toolkits after Ixalan, and until such time as toolkit contents have changed enough to warrant an update, or simply enough time has passed for a revisited review. If you'd like to see my previous evaluation of toolkits from 2 and 3 years ago, you may do so here and here. If you'd like to see my own alternative suggestions for brand new and casual players, check out my complete casual guide here. A deck builder's toolkit contains the following: a land pack containing 100 land, a semi-random assortment of 120 commons and uncommons, 5 iconic rares, and of course the toolkit box itself can be used as a storage container. So if you were to just purchase those 4 Magic the Gathering packs individually at the usual price of $4 each, they would cost you $16. A deck builder's toolkit has an MSRP of $19.99, meaning that for your additional $3.99 you get all the other components. So, for what is essentially the cost of one booster pack, you are getting all those extras, and thus it is fair to say that you're not losing any money on a toolkit. Go down to your local game store, and just that land pack alone is probably, and reasonably, $4 to $5 or so. 120 assorted commons and uncommons that are all currently in standard. Add that with the land pack and, of course, the storage box, you've got some value there. But let's be sure to examine the usefulness as well for each of these components. To begin, I feel it is very fair to say that these 5 iconic rares are an antiquated inclusion. Shivan Dragon and Nightmare hold nostalgic value, but not really any modern-day play value. And none of these are representative of present-day rares. You're also only getting one of each, so even for fun games with friends, you're not going to have a consistent deck. Maybe if you had a play set of each so that you knew that, yes, I built red, so I've got the Shivan Dragon deck, and I've got a play set of Shivan Dragons in here. But as they currently have it arranged, what you're getting is pretty worthless outside of casual play. Maybe if these were a better selection of rares, but again, as it stands, this is worth about as much as the included Magic Quick Reference Guide. Not much, if anything, at all. So what's left? 120 semi-randomized commons and uncommons, and of course, that 100-card land pack. Again, that's not bad for $3.99. For a brand new or returning player especially, 120 commons and uncommons, as well as the land pack, gives them a lot to think about and play with, and of course build with. Any established player has more basic land than they know what to do with, but just getting back into the game or starting out, sure, it's nice to have that land pack. Now, here's something I really do like about the toolkit, and that is the toolkit box itself. This is a nifty little piece of cardboard, and what's great about it is it holds a lot more than comes with the Deck Builder's Toolkit, because of course, as a Magic the Gathering player, you are expanding your collection, especially when just starting out. Notice that the Toolkit box can hold standard-sized deck boxes, you know, the basic deck boxes, whether from Ultra Pro or here from Ultimate Guard or BCW, and of course, just unsleeved or sleeved cards can also fit. What I really like about this isn't just that it'll actually hold a deck box, which is cool by itself, but the fact that these cardboard flaps fold into the box. This is so much better than just having a lid that goes on and does not stay on. It's not perfect protection, of course, but this keeps, look at that. Whoa, it came out there. Truth in advertising. But I do think that this provides pretty good safety, at least compared to something like the holiday gift box, which is just a lid on top of the box with nothing securing it whatsoever. This is a fun thing. I've got some from years back that I've treated rather roughly. Thick cardboard, nice thing for a newer returning player. One thing I want to point out, as you can see here, is that within the semi-random allotment, there's going to be a few one-ofs that are true tools. From cards like Abrade and Unclaimed Territory, nice inclusions even though it's only one of each, to a couple of Evolving Wilds and a couple Spell Pierces. These are all indeed cards that can be called toolkit pieces, but there's so few of them mixed in with all that other bulk. One Abrade, one Prophetic Prism, and remember, this is a semi-random assortment, so you may not be assured of getting either of these. Question: is a pile of 120 semi-randomly assorted commons and uncommons from Standard a good value for a new player for $3.99, plus of course those extras? Answer: absolutely. But question: is this semi-random assortment one that truly serves as a toolkit for decks? Answer: no. Tap lands instead of gain lands. 1 to 2 of most of these commons and uncommons. It's a grab bag of random bulk. Maybe you'll get a few lucky pieces, and you can certainly have fun building your first casual deck, but as a toolkit, it lacks tools. Now, for a very important thing to note, previously I would compare the Deck Builder's Toolkit to other pre-constructed products, such as Clash packs or event decks, and I would try and see if your dollars could be better spent in those areas. But as of the filming of this video, not only have both Clash packs and event decks been discontinued, but no product has yet replaced them. So when you think of the path to playing at your local games store, your options are really this or a Planeswalker deck. Well, the Planeswalker decks are pre-constructed. Here you're building your own deck. After all, it's the Deck Builder's Toolkit, so what kind of deck does this build? You get 5 rares. You are making a deck entirely of commons and uncommons, and as I discussed previously, very few of these cards are actually tools. The majority of what is included here is draft chaff and bulk bin buys. So what can you build with this? Answer: a strictly casual deck. That doesn't mean it isn't fun to play or informative and helpful for new players. players. Far from it, but it should be stressed that the Deck Builder's Toolkit will not give you what you need to play Magic with others at your local game store. It will only give you practice cards to play around with building a deck that is only really going to be fun when matched against another Deck Builder's Toolkit. The key is that they have to be played against themselves. Deck Builders Toolkits make for enjoyable games of casual Magic, but only if your friend has constructed their deck from a toolkit as well. If you build a deck from a toolkit and then sit down to play against a dual deck or a standard deck, you're not going to have a good time. That is because balance is the key, and you're going to need to play against another person's deck that they constructed from their own toolkit. Question: can a fun, beginner's casual deck be constructed from a Deck Builder's Toolkit? Answer: yes. And Deck Builder's Toolkits, when played against one another, are great fun for brand new and existing players. If your store has a Toolkit League, join it. Those are great. But question: can a Deck Builder's Toolkit allow you to build a deck to play at any store event, from Friday Night Magic to Standard Showdowns, at your local game store? Answer: no. The tools simply are not in this kit to build a real Magic deck. Alternatives. So you can no longer spend an extra $5 to $10 on a Clash Pack or event deck to sit down and play Magic the Gathering at your local game store. What then can you do? Just today, I was at my local game store. Seriously, today, the day of filming this, and a returning player from 10 years ago was frustrated and dismayed that there were no pre-constructed decks that he could buy, because what he wanted to do was come in once a week to Friday Night Magic and play Magic. Now, the store owner pulled up the cheaper tournament deck lists, which all had cumulative prices of about $125 and up, and also suggested he consider something like a $40 bundle or a $100 booster box, and yeah, this guy was bummed out. And that's when I suggested he not buy a Deck Builder's Toolkit, but instead go purchase the singles from a list from Strictly Better MTG instead. Strictly Better MTG is a fantastic Magic the Gathering YouTube channel focused on budget builds of fun and effective decks for Standard. Here we go, $25 White-Black Vampires list. Here's a $30 budget list for Standard, and a $20 budget list for Standard. This is the price of, or a few dollars more than the price of, a Deck Builder's Toolkit, and yet a Deck Builder's Toolkit deck can't even be reasonably played against these $20 decks from Dev. But if you can't afford a tournament standard deck and don't know where to start, the best alternative to a Deck Builder's Toolkit today is to start with Strictly Better MTG. Final conclusion: Deck Builders Toolkits are a fine first purchase for new players, and can be a lot of fun when played against each other. However, it is worth understanding that they are almost entirely commons and uncommons, and do not contain the pieces to make even a budget deck to play at your local game store. Nonetheless, they have a low cost and no significant loss of value, a satisfactory selection of commons and uncommons, a land pack, and a very nice storage box. Grade B. Very good, but specifically for new players. Established players have little to no use for these outside of a toolkit league. I hope very much this video has been of some help to you. Are you just looking for a fun way to play Magic the Gathering with a friend? Buying 2 Deck Builders Toolkits is going to run you upwards of $40. For that price, you can purchase 4 battle decks from Card Kingdom. Constructed decks meant and balanced for playing against each other, and typically based upon popular draft archetypes. Picking up 2 of these is cheaper than picking up 2 Deck Builders Toolkits. Or you can go even further and just pick up 2 rookie decks if you're looking to teach a new player. Excellent monocolored sources of Magic decks. These are all available through my affiliate link with our channel sponsor Card Kingdom, and you can watch my video reviews of them here and here. And this program was made possible thanks to a sponsorship from Card Kingdom, as well as the Patreon support of viewers such as you. So thank you.